Well met, my fellow Star Travelers. Welcome back to Moonshadow Fantasy. I am your host, Makarios Moonshadow, aka Maka, coming at you with all three of the Omega Savages, 4, 8, and 12 that drop mounts. Unsynced, of course, for this first one, you will completely skip Phase 1. You will only need a tank, healer, and the rest DPS. So that being said, you know how we do no fluff and stuff, let's jump into Phase 2. So, for Omega Deltascape 4.0 Savage Unsynced, it is recommended that you move your status enfeeblements on from your HUD bar off to the middle and blow it up a bit. You're going to need that for the series of debuffs that are coming up. First things first, big raid-wide damage, as bosses like to do. Tanks will get a arrow 3, just move away from the tank, don't get clipped by that. Delta attack, everyone stack in the very center or in the very front together to bait 2 AoEs that will chase you one after the other. Next up is going to be Grand Cross Alpha. Here are the debuffs that you need to know. Once he begins casting Grand Cross Alpha, everyone wants to be standing in the very center of the arena because you will get Fear first, which will send you spreading off into a random direction. You'll either have purple or blue debuffs, which means just stand in the opposite color blast zone. The boss will move to another part of the arena, and you will get 2 of one of these 3 debuffs that will go off at the same time, hence needing the status enfeeblements moved to the center of your screen and blown up, because you'll have to deal with those 2 mechanics at the same time. They all have a timer of which one's going to go off first. It's usually Fear, then the 2 debuffs, followed by the color. So let's see that in action. So for Grand Cross, we're all stacked nice and tightly in the very center of the arena. We're all going to get Fear first, which sends us running into a random direction. The boss is going to move, so we're going to follow where he goes. Deal with our next 2 debuffs that go up at the same time. I have Knockback Person and Time Bomb, so we get knockback and stand still at the same time. Then deal with your different colored AoEs. I have a purple, so I stand in the blue. Boom, Grand Cross Alpha is finished. Next up is going to be a tank buster called Double Attack. Pop your knockback prevention and invuln for this one. It doesn't hurt too much, so you don't really need to, but you know, why not, right? Next is going to be some AoEs that chase you down the middle, and the boss is going to blast the sides or straight down the middle. So the arrows on the AoEs point in the direction they're going to be moving to, and then you're going to stand on either the very front of the boss in the center or on the sides depending on which animation he has. So watch his animations, dodge the AoEs, and you're done. One more arrow 3, stay away from your tanks, and best of RNG luck. This is for the Flying Snake in Deltascape 4.0 Savage Unsynced. Let's move on to Kefka next, God Mode. Now this one is by far the easiest out of all 4. Sigmascape 8.0 Savage Unsynced Kefka. Boop, 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 boop. That's the best laugh I can get. For this one, you only want to do the opposite of whatever he's telling you to do if he has a question mark under his name. So for red triangles above your head, normally we stack together, which we just did. Next, he's going to have a question mark. So if he does, don't stack. And if there's AoEs, stay out the AoEs. Unless he has a question mark, then stand in the AoEs. It's that simple for Phase 1. You're going to kill him in about 3 or 4 hits, so other than the question mark, dodging the AoEs and the triangles, there's no mechanics to learn for Phase 1. So let's move over to Phase 2, where he goes Super Saiyan. Now again, for Sigmascape here, you do not need any more than 1 tank, 1 healer, and the rest DPS. I would argue that you probably don't even need a healer for this one, because he's going to die very fast. There are no mechanics to speak of, other than the question mark again above his head. He is going to do a big raid-wide damage. That's why you do need a healer, of course. The raid-wide damage that brings you down to 1 at the very beginning, requiring you to bring at least 1 healer. That being said, monitor the question mark above his, under his name, and he doesn't have one, so we wanted to stack with our stack team over there, dodge the AoEs, and that's it. That's Kefka. By far the easiest Unsynced Savage I think I've ever been in. This is for the flying mini helicopter. Best of RNG luck to you. Let's move over to the last but not least, Omega, him, her, themselves. So, welcome to Omega Alphascape 12 Savage Unsynced. There's a lot to go over here, but it's very simple once you get the hang of it. You only need 2 tanks and the rest DPS for this fight. No healer is needed, and you will see why, but do bring at least 1 or 2 rezzers, just in case someone messes up. Place markers on the left and right hand side. Pull the boss all the way to the far left or right side of the arena, doesn't matter, as long as everybody is out of the very center, because the eye will do a blast down the very middle. Now, you want to monitor your debuffs next to your name. Watch our Reaper, Siratia. Special shout out to you for helping us with this this debuff here. What you're looking for is a red and white checkered cross. So there it is, just popped up. If only one person gets that debuff, they need to move away from the rest of the party. And if a bunch of people get it, then we need to stay stacked together. That's that mechanic. But it's okay, just res them up, then separate into 2 groups, 2 stack teams, far left and far right. Bosses will then pop up. You want to stay stacked behind your female version for a knockback mechanic. And then after this, you're going to be attacking the boss with the opposite color debuff that you have. So if you have a red, you're going to attack the blue, which is male, and if you have a blue, you're going to attack the red, which is the female. Got it? So here's one more illustration. So this one's for our tanks. Tanks, once the boss starts casting a resonance, here are your 2 different icons that you may get. If it shows the 2 little people together, we want to keep them separate, and if it shows them separate, we want to bring them together. Basically doing the exact opposite of whatever the debuff shows. So our debuff right now shows the 2 little people are separate, which means they're stronger apart. So we're going to bring them together so that we can damage them down. Next is going to be Fundamental Synergy. Now this one's a fun one. You're either going to get purple triangles or blue squares above your head, and a certain number of them. If you have an even number, you're going to move to the left, west side, and if you have an odd number of them, you're going to move to the east, to the right side. 2s at the top, 2s and 1s at the top, 3s and 4s at the bottom, standing in your markers, and as long as you do that, the bosses will then dash across the arena, and everyone will only get hit once, completely surviving it. So once Fundamental Synergy is done casting, that's when everyone will get their shapes, and then the boss will start casting another attack. As long as the 2s and 4s are on the left, and the 1s and 3s are on the right, the markers are just there to help people spread out. We're not matching markers or anything like that. It's just to help people have an idea of how far apart they need to be from each other. The bosses will dash across, hitting everybody one time, and as long as the 2s and 1s are at the top, and the 3s and 4s at the bottom, everyone will survive, and we can begin phase 2. So we only need to do 3 things for the beginning of this phase. 1 is monitor the blue marker above your head. Someone's going to get a blast. You're going to watch the halos above the boss's head. If they're on his sides, those are the safe sides. So wherever the halo is, that's the safe zone. If they're on his sides, go to the sides. If they're on his front and back, go to the front and back. Once the blue marker goes above someone's head, hopefully it's a tank, sometimes it's a DPS, res the DPS very quickly, and then tethers, once patch starts casting. Tethers is very important because you want to pop these very, very slowly. Blue tethers get popped by spreading apart, colors by coming together. So, monitor the halos. We're going to stand on the right side where he was, popping the tethers after every 3 seconds. So, the third thing is the TVs. Tanks stand on either side of the TVs, everyone else on the other side. So just spread out for the TVs phase. But pop 1 blue tether, wait 3 seconds, pop another blue tether, wait 3 seconds. Make sure you're in the correct area for the halos. If you get hit by the halos, they'll pop your tether. So it takes a little bit of practice, but pop a tether every 3 seconds, do it nice and slow, and you'll skip Hello World. Once Hello World starts casting, just keep burning, ignore everything else, and the boss will go down. You don't have to jump off the map or anything like that. Best of RNG luck to you, everybody. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for watching. Special shout out to Aries and Adrian for helping me, Rena, Main, Sierra. I love you guys. And my name is Maka. I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.